We're talking about productivity, purpose, passion, and power, right? So I'll give you a quick intro of myself. I just shared my story. You know, when we think about all these P's, it sounds like it's such in great alignment. And there's some people who, at the age of 3, they already knew what they wanted to do with their lives. You have people who their parents will say, oh, yeah, my little boy used to take things apart and we knew he was going to be an engineer. He used to draw this, we knew he was going to be a designer, an artist, all of that, right? It's so simple to say, I want to be an accountant, and you start with an accounting degree, and then you look for jobs in accounting, and then you become an accountant. If you know you want to do law, you do the same thing. You go to school, you pass the bar, and then you start working as a lawyer. As for me, my life has not been that well orchestrated path. And, you know, sometimes I talk to God like, where do you have me go? And you have me over here, over there, doing this, doing that. What am I doing with my life, right? So I'll walk you through a little bit. If anyone hears an accent, I am Jamaican. Do we have any Jamaicans in the group? No Jamaicans in the group? All right. So when I was 16, I started doing my associate's degree. I moved from Jamaica to Brooklyn, New York to attend a community college because the four-year colleges told my dad that at 16, I had no business doing my degree, so I needed to start with community college. So we're like, all right, fine. So I did my associate's degree in travel, tourism, and hospitality. I finished that in about a year and a half, and then I went to Baruch College in New York City to do my bachelor's degree in corporate communication. And then right after, I did my master's degree in corporate communication. All right. So we're doing travel and tourism, and then we're doing corporate communication. Like, wait, what? Okay. Not in alignment, not making a lot of sense, but we're doing it. So then I started working for the borough president of Brooklyn. So now I'm in politics. I'm working so the borough president is pretty much like the mayor of the town. So I'm working for the Brooklyn borough president, doing a little bit of politics here. And then I take a full-time job doing consulting for a manufacturing company. So we have travel, we have corporate communication, we have politics, and then out here I am working with small mom and pop shops in manufacturing. Fast forward, once I finished my master's degree, I found about this opportunity to teach English, and I moved to China. The contract was 10 months, but I actually stayed for 2 years because I just had a fabulous time. So now we added education to this whole picture, and I'm a teacher. I moved back to New York, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply for the MTA, which is the transportation system in New York. So they do the subways, the buses. I don't know if people here from Jersey or wherever, but if you know the MTA, it's the subways and buses. So now I'm working at the MTA, and I'm supposed to be doing employment, which it's not too much of a, you know, it's not too far field or far-fetched. So I'm doing employment, and then the company decides that they want to create something called a shared services. Now, shared services is where everybody's doing a little bit of everything. And instead of having Long Island Railroad, Metro North, New York City Transit, and everyone doing the same functions like human resources, payroll, accounts payable, we centralize all of that. So I'm hired to do employment. Now I'm doing accounts payable, I'm doing payroll, I'm doing IT, I'm doing procurement, and just like all over the place. So, you know, there's cross training. We got trained to do it. But again, I'm looking like, God, where are we going with this? Like, this is not making a lot of sense. So in 2013, faced by my own challenges of just trying to be productive and make sure that I'm in alignment, a lot of things happened. January 2013, I started dating the man I'm married to right now. July 2013, he proposes. October 2013, we get married. So in a year, my life completely changed. And to add on to that, in 11 months, we have our first son. 2 years later, we have our second son. So I go from 2013, like, who wants to go to Brazil? Who wants to go to, you know, wherever, like just globetrotting to, oh, so now I'm a wife and a mom. So I have this full-time job. I'm now a wife. I'm a mom of 2 babies who are just 2 years apart. And I'm still trying to figure out, Lord, what is my purpose? What is the purpose that you have for me? I'm passionate about so many different things. I want to write a book. I want to travel the world. How do you align all of this? So by me trying to balance productivity, balance self-care, I'm like, woman, there's so much that a woman has to do. We need to stay snatched, but we need to have babies. We need to have our hair done. We need to go to the gym. We need to do all this. And I'm like, this is just too much. I need to figure this out, and I need to figure it out quickly, because all these titles and roles that you have me doing, everybody's snatching for my most valuable asset, which is my time. So long story short, things started coming full circle. In 2017, once I started trying to figure out my own productivity solutions, I started offering this as a service to other people. Because we have to remember, an expert is not someone who knows everything, who did everything. An expert is someone who made all the mistakes. So now you don't have to make them, right? So every productivity fail, everything that didn't work out, I went through those, and I said, I know I'm not the only person who's struggling with self-care, productivity, trying to find their purpose, trying to find out their passion. I want to teach people and bring them along the journey with me. I may not know everything, but I probably know one thing that they didn't know, and I'll teach them. So I started doing productivity coaching while I'm working my full-time job, while I'm a wife, have my two boys, and I'm like, I'm gonna help these women. Someone is out there who needs this service. Long story short, people started finding out about my services, and now I have a company. I started working with a woman in June. We met at a conference, and we started dating each other, just like hanging out and have a new friend. And she was like, Roseanne, I really like the way that you work. Will you work for my company? And I'm like, okay. So I started doing project management for her. One of the projects that I had was to work on a newsletter. Someone said to her, hey, I noticed that your newsletter has changed drastically. Who's working with you? They said, Roseanne. That person now became my client. So that corporate communication degree that I did in 2006 and 2007 is now coming into play as I'm writing corporate copy for companies. Back up, I was talking to the Budgetnista one day. I'm sure all of you know Tiffany Alicia, the Budgetnista. She called me and she's like, Roseanne, I need some productivity coaching in my life. I have too much going on. I need to create some alignment. So I said, sure, let's do it. She called me back. She said, by the way, my CFO, my chief financial officer, also needs productivity coaching. I spoke to her CFO and I'm like, woman, you do not need a productivity coach. You need a team. You are doing 5 jobs and that's where you're not productive. And she says to me, would you like to be on a team? I worked in manufacturing. I worked in education. Now I'm going to work in finance. Okay, sure. Because what she was saying is the work that she has, she can teach that. And with my background of doing that finance, she was trying to find the right fit. She didn't really care about the position so much. It was about making sure she wanted to work with me. So I say all that to say, a lot of times we look at our lives and we're like, God, where are you taking me? I thought it was A to B. Why is it not a linear path? Sometimes it's a curve, sometimes it's zigzag, sometimes a jump over the hoop. But one of the P's is preparation. Everything that I did all then was preparation for now. So when I speak to my doctor, when I speak to my client who's a doctor, and she's talking to me about health benefits, oh, I work in health benefits. I know exactly what you're talking about. When I speak to her husband who owns an acupuncture firm, I can talk to him about benefits and human resources, right? When I speak to my client who's an engineer, I can say, oh, I did lean manufacturing. I know about Six Sigma and all these belt, green belt, yellow belt, white belt, because I did it for the manufacturing firm. So I just want to say to anyone who's out there who's like, I don't know what's going on with my life. I'm not sure where God has taken me. Just rest and hope and pray that He will give you guidance and He will lead you where you need to go. All right. I definitely just wanted to start off by sharing my story to say, yes, I'm a productivity coach. Yes, I can give you tips, but don't think for 1 second that my life is perfect or was perfect. I'm a servant of God walking through the steps and just trusting and believing that He has somewhere for me to go. All right. So let's talk a little bit about productivity. First, I would like to start off by defining. Anyone take yourself off mute and tell me what your definition of productivity is.
We're gonna call on Shawana. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Shawana? Are you with us, Shawana? Oh, I really wanted to hear from her. How about Christina? I haven't seen you in a while, Christina. I'm glad that you're here. Are you able to unmute yourself and tell us what you think productivity is?
Hello, how you ladies doing?
Ah,
Hey. So it's basically what do I think productivity is?
yes, how do you define it?
Being productive. Basically I guess I would just say like executing a vision, like being able to execute a vision and using your resources to do so.
I love it. Yeah. Was Denise putting her hand up to respond, or was that just a hey girl, I hear you?
No, I did put up my hand to respond. I was thinking productivity is putting things in place and actually getting them done in like a timely frame, which I'm working on that now.
I love it. Do we have anyone else we wanted to call on?
How about Sadira? Are you with us, Sadira?
I had a feeling you were going to call on me. I was like, dang. What do I feel productivity is?
Yes, please.
I feel that productivity is accomplishing what I either put down on paper or what I have in my head to do. So being productive is different than being busy. I'm actually accomplishing something. I'm not just, moving my body around or, my mind is going all over the place. I'm actually accomplishing things in succession.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what I will say is that I'm not here to right or wrong your answer. I'm not here to grade your answer, because I actually believe that productivity is personal to individuals, and it should be, right? So the way I define productivity is that it's literally just doing the thing that you need to do in that moment. So if you know that you have a goal to work on, then obviously you look at your goal and you say, well, if I have something due on Wednesday, what are the steps that I need to take to accomplish it? And then using my time, my resources towards that actual goal. And the reason I say that it should be different is because that word should is a very interesting word that will get you into social comparison. You'll start saying, well, Jessyca is married, she has children, I should do this. My life is not being as productive as it can be. I should. But it's really personal to you and doing what you need to do when you need to do it. So that's how I define productivity. It's doing the things that you need to do when you need to do it. And I love that Sadira pointed out that activity is not productivity, right? So let's say that our goal is to lose 10 pounds. I'm sure as women, we can all relate to some kind of weight goal. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds, the most productive use of your time is going to be, one, finding out what it takes to lose those pounds. For some people, it may be just better clean eating, whereas for some people, it's clean eating and the gym. For some people, it's just the gym, right? So you need to find out what you need to do to get to your goal. But also in terms of it not just being activity, some people will make sure that they bought the right clothes, buy all the equipment, buy the gym clothes, do all that stuff, and you're doing all this busy work that may appear to be the best use of your time or to be productive towards your goal, but it's really just activity. It's just busyness, because you're not actually getting to the goal of doing what you need to do. You're just playing around, dancing around the actual goal to make it seem like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? So I just wanted to first off, just start by redefining productivity. And if anyone wants to drop in the chat, what you think you're being prompted to do, that would be great. So just share in the chat, what do you think is the most productive use of your time? And we'll talk about Q2. So April, May, June. What is the goal that you're working on?